Good evening, and welcome to Odessa the Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight we start our scene in the smaller city of Tumaran, not far from Odessa, but current festivities, well, it means that Madeline and Torvald, for the most part, are staying within the city, as long as the Grand Elysium and the question of what's going to happen with, well, Odessa in general is being answered. They are staying within the city, or spending most of their time there. I do believe we have this scene will take place in a more private place within the castle. Madeline doesn't live here anymore, but she does, well,
have quarters.
yes, indeed. And,
Thorwald's been out. The Elysium starts quite late, I imagine, to allow for elders who wake up late at night. Thorwald, on the other hand, he's been out doing his fatherly duties. And he returns. You can probably hear his footsteps up the castle stairs. Being deliberately heavy-footed at this point.
Madeline is, as she has a tendency to, is writing and books. Been doing this quite a bit ever since she's had the free time. She even did it when she was pregnant. Whenever she had time, she was scribing away, seemingly copying scripture.
He comes through the door. As he comes to the door, he looks. I mean, they didn't have clocks in those days. Or did they? Can't remember when the clock was invented.
Somewhat later, quite a bit later.
Yeah, they didn't have clocks at that point. So when he comes in,
you have the stars. If the stars are out, you can. You can't gauge time from that, but they are significantly south.
When he comes in, he opens one of the well protected small slat windows, and looks out at the courtyard where there's probably a shadow thing. You know what I mean? I've lost the sundial, which also works with the moon. He just sort of looks at the state of the evening, and then he doesn't say anything to Madeline at this point. He just he strips off and goes to the wash basin, and I assume they haven't brought Guthrie along, so he's like rushing to do it himself.
Madeline seems quite. She will just say, "Well, do you want to take care of it yourself, or do you need assistance?"
Let's not bother Guthrie. I'm sure she's busy studying.
I could help you.
He smiles. He seems to be at the moment cleaning some blood from underneath his fingernails. And then he takes a knife and cuts his hair like at a point, like cuts the ponytail off, and then starts sort of as best as you can without like a really close shaver. He shaves his beard and shaves his head, like not completely, but to like a more short hairstyle, a bit like in his original overlay, like the picture down below.
Hmm.
So he's got sort of a less instead of like a long beard and long hair, which she's used to seeing him with. He styles it into like a short hair and goatee. She looks smarter. You've seen him do this before. It was the way he dressed when he was in Gaia's service. But he seems to be making an effort for the fact that it's Elysium.
Madeline seems quite focused. He continues, waits for him to be done.
What are you reading?
I am transcribing, studying. I have read them by now, but this takes more time. These some of the books I rescued from the prince's chambers.
He looks up and he says, "Is it wise to bring these books here? I'm sure not everyone would approve of you having them."
Why? It is the safest place to have them. I have heard at least one of the Cappadocians demanding their return. Of course, Ulrich has to decide one way or the other. And while he decides, I intend to study as much as I can. Of course, we cannot have the Cappadocians keeping all of the knowledge to themselves, but we should not let them know, of course. But we intend to learn some of what they know.
I can't believe that Tremere had the audacity the other night to say that many people did nothing in the wake of the plague. They seem to forget that quite a few of us risked our lives to destroy those rats.
Well, it is Clan Tremere. I do not think you can expect them to be anything else than reckless, politically shrewd, daring. The only problem is they have quite a few things to hold up their, however false, accusations. Their political power cannot be questioned due to the fact that they have thus far succeeded very well in gathering allies and toppling an high clan. However might true, their words carry weight.
You see him sort of. He doesn't actually spit, but because that would require blood. But he just goes, "Fuck their words."
In,
Taps the blade on the edge of the sink with a sort of clattering sound.
I knew that they have stolen blood of your clan, and many others. I do not trust them one bit.
They'd
I
also be
agree if it was that easy. But think of it what it takes to come out of nothing. Make yourself, first of all, make yourself kindred without taking a sire is a feat quite unique as far as I understand, if that is indeed what they did. And then unseat a high clan that has been in place for thousands and thousands of years. In a matter of what? 100 years? Such power should never, ever underestimate.
No, and will be the Cappadocians and the Tremere who'll be the first to look into our cub if he's not careful. I'm not sure the extent of his control.
We might not be able to control him. But is it not in the nature of all children to quickly or slowly outgrow the control of their parents?
He starts to slide on this sort of black armor as pictured. You've noticed recently, pretty much since more recently than not, but since he's been in Madeline's company, he tends to favour this colour now to sort of match her own.
You felt the power of that. Our first child. It's impressive. Quite astonishing. She puts the pen down, gets up, and just goes over to him. And again, she just puts her arms on his chest and just says, think of it. What are there? Thousands, tens of thousands of kindred in this world. They can make children, sure. Some have many. But none, as far as I believe, have ever had children. And yet, here we are. Once again, we are parents.
He slides on the leather gloves and looks at Madeline. He certainly wears the sins of his father.
He wears them well, as his father does.
He smiles slightly. We'll have to name him or ask the mother's counterpart what his name is. Can't keep calling him Cub. He'll grow soon enough.
I forgot to ask you, originally, where are you from in the world? The north? Germania? Or the Thistans?
My mother was from essentially the medieval equivalent of Spain, which fails. I think that's part of Gaul at this point, or was during the Roman Empire. I'll look it up in a second. And my father, if the stories are to be believed, was a Nord like Erdin.
So, would you name him after your father's tradition or your mother's?
My father's, I expect, as I was.
What is it they say from the north? I have had very little Sometimes they name them not, well, the father's name, but with the postscript of son. Is that not what they do?
He nods.
A father should have a say in his child. I will leave it to you.
The mother may have chosen a name for him.
Well, that's true. We should hear the mother, of course. If at least she leaves it to us, you should have the honors.
I have a desire for a creation. I do not know how to make it. I may seek the mother's counsel on it.
Okay. I
I
am intrigued.
imagine it will require a vessel that isn't as tainted as you or I.
Hmm.
The vessel is of no consequence to me. I wish for a more sentient child, in the sense of
Where?
he goes to the book. Where there is beast, there must be beauty. Where there is chaos, there must be control. He goes to one of his own books that he's been studying, no doubt that she's given him about witchcraft and demonology and that sort of thing, the things that they read.
Madeline doesn't have any books on demonology.
Oh, well, mythology or something.
That, yeah, more likely, yes.
Mythos or that sort of thing. Actually, yeah, he goes to a book of Greek mythos, and he opens the page and shows her the picture of Persephone, who's essentially who was the lover of Hades, but in a sense is a what we would call a succubus, a beautiful creature that's monstrous underneath, but can take a beautiful form in order to reap sin in the form of lust.
I have made an impression upon you, it seems. She just smiles.
He walks back to Madeline and touches her face. As any father, I desire daughter to emulate her mother's beauty, as well as a son to emulate my strength.
Well, I will be interested to see what you can do. Honestly, I would think you as a perfect person to do this in time. But perhaps, given the fact that we have so much time to explore this, perhaps it is the fact that while we are, as you say, perhaps tainted by the beast, in time it will change. Perhaps this depends on what we understand by the act of creation.
Something I wish to study.
Indeed. As do I. But you must use cunning when you create. You must study. Only creating, just at the flur of the moment, is dangerous and does not really suit the purpose. But as I chose you as the perfect student, and as a very, very good father, loving of the mother and of me, so I believe you will be cunning. So I believe you will be quite astute at this.
He smiles. This issue with my sire troubles me.
As it should.
She believes that you were the one that set the hunters upon her.
It seems to be uh,
I'm going to roll for that.
I am quite certain she would think so. I have 2 successes.
I have more.
Yes.
He
Madeline
peers
seems
at her.
to well, what she says is, well, I would expect her to think that. And she will go on to say, well, she has a certain fight in her. I do believe she sees me as competition in some way. But I had nothing to do with it. And there is something about that that seems to ring false.
Thorwald, he doesn't grab Madeline's throat quite. He does sort of force his hand quite abruptly under her chin and lift it up. It's somewhat close to being his hand around her neck. Don't lie to me, woman.
Mm-hmm. Give me a moment. First of all, I'm actually not certain what she will do, and I need to look something up.
You see an unfamiliar. I mean, you've certainly seen Thorwald angry before, but it's rare you've seen this kind of flash of anger in your direction.
Mm, she looks him in the eyes, and she just says, I am not lying to you. And I'm going to roll something. Mm-hmm. And no. No, she's not. She's going to roll this instead. Dice. And she is going to, as she is, I believe that is 2 successes. She's just gonna look into his eyes and she's gonna say, "Believe me, I am not lying to you." And she is using mesmerize as she says so, making that a command. Well,
That's dominate.
that is dominate.
What do I have to roll to resist? It's willpower, isn't it?
What's this
I don't
ability?
know the rules to dominate. I've actually forgotten.
If this is such an interruption, blah, blah, blah.
I know the difficulty is my willpower.
What is your willpower?
5.
Does that change anything? I don't think it does. Nope, it doesn't.
No.
It's still 2.
Okay, there was just, I think the difficulty is my willpower, and that's it. I think you can spend I know you can spend a willpower, try and resist it, but in this case I probably won't. Just for ease, because I don't exactly remember the rules.
I don't actually see anything for it. Characters avoiding since you're looking like if you avoid the character's case can roll willpower difficulty equals to the vampire's manipulation into.
Yeah, I'm looking into your eyes, so it's not gonna work. This works. He slowly lets you go. I believe you.
I know.
He runs his thumb over your lips. Forgive me.
There is nothing to forgive. This is just one of the funnier sides to love. You are worried. It is totally natural for you to be worried. I am worried for you as well, for many reasons.
We must find a way to prove your innocence. Though, under current standing, with no prince in Odessa, if she finds either of us there, she could kill us. And she could, as she has many times threatened, bid the prince for my death. If you care for
She can try.
a nameless neonate's distraction. We don't know. Ulrich, you have Ulrich's ear, but we don't know who the Prince of Odessa will be.
Madeline smiles. Well, by the ways that things are going downstairs these nights, to believe the winds are blowing in our favor. Did you see the Venture Primogen?
I did.
He did not exactly win the crowd to his side. Gerard is a problem.
Something like that.
But honestly, if he was to become prince, why? It would make him a bigger target for quite a few people.
Thorvald almost recoils at the idea of Gerard being prince.
A prince is only really in a beneficial situation if he has total control of the city and has backing of all of the city's circles. He does not. Him becoming prince means that he has to make very many concessions politically to other parties. This will be very, very difficult for Gerard. He does not wish to become prince. A position in the court, perhaps.
I've known many men like him. Many. Hungry for power. Proud, arrogant. Weaknesses that can be exploited.
And at least one woman. Madeline just looks at him and smiles.
He smiles. But yeah,
I know my own weaknesses. One must know this, especially at my age.
But unlike Gerard, you have so many other appealing qualities, my love. He says, sort of tugging at the neckline of her dress very slightly, teasingly.
Well, I have spent some time getting ready for Elysium. We cannot have you making a mess of it, sadly.
To avoid that, you only need to start from the bottom up. He says, smirking, as if he's got experience in these matters.
Let us stay on topic for the moment.
Who do you think will be prince?
I have not made much of this Brugia. I thought him a fool at first. Now I am certain that he would. Perhaps he could be a good figurehead for the city. Perhaps he would quiet some other problems that have been boiling under the surface. And he would be less based in the city, seemingly, which would make him more beholden to people who are very much in power in this city, meaning my primogen. Of course, his temperament can be a problem, as much as any other's curse can be a problem. He is perhaps a good choice.
I'm not sure about sending mortals against the hunters.
Neither am I.
I don't think it work. But I'm content to see Gerald fail.
And, more importantly, we should encourage this. A large contingency will hopefully be the mortals that Gerard controls. If it fails utterly, Gerard would have lost mortal subjects under his command, weakening his position. I will speak with the seneschal. Oh, sorry. My primogen. Perhaps there is a way we could benefit from this situation, no matter what happens.
I saw a different side to Irene than I've seen before. The other night. She seems so delicate. And yet, she stood up against the Ventry primogen.
Foolish, but very brave.
You seem to get the approval of the rest of the room, the majority.
But
So there's a leader in her yet.
there is.
As you would say, I see potential. He mocks Madeline's accent slightly.
Quite so. But she is Ulrich's child.
And
While
quite
we are not consulting with, we made a wonderful thing together. I am sure you understand that we cannot have Ulrich find out. His seal will not make him able to see clearly a difference between what we faced in Joanna's house and what we have made, even though there is night and day between them, even though that they are nothing alike. And I, in certain ways, knows more than Ulrich about, well, just how different things can be, just how many things share the night with us. He will not see it that way. He trusts me, and by extension, he trusts you. We shall keep it this way. We will protect Irene every chance we can.
he nods. Well, he brushes down the armour that he's wearing. I suppose at some point we should join the party.
Quite so. But when you see potential, I wonder, do you think she smiles to him with a wicked grin? Are you thinking of making her a mother?
No.
Hmm.
I mean, you have your choices. And I have mine. She's not to my taste.
Just wondering. Maybe her innocence took your fancy.
I'm not sure on what combination that I will need to make my Persephone. Like I say, it'll take much time to study. And
Love.
so,
My love, this will mean that will both have, in time, to take others into our beds. I have no problem with this.
he shakes his head. I will never take another woman into our bed. This I promise you. Yeah,
But how then will you create?
there will be a procedure. He smiles, but it will not be done in our chambers.
Ah, I see. Well, that was not entirely what I meant. I meant that you would have to be with other women. Potentially, I would have to be with other men.
I'm gonna roll something. On success. Are you rolling against it?
What is he rolling?
Manipulation subterfuge.
Sure. I'll do that. Roll my 8 dice.
Yeah.
A 3.
He tries to hide it, but when he seems, you can tell that he seems sort of indifferent about other women. Like when he talks about it very scientifically and mechanically. Um, when you say when Madeline is about taking other men to bed, you see he tries to conceal it, but you see a flash of jealousy. His jaw tightens. His eyes flicker slightly.
Madeline, just look at him and just say, "This pains you."
It does. But it is important that we fulfill.
And you. She interrupts him. You honestly believe that it does not pain me to think of you lying with another woman. I understand
He lowers his
what
head.
it means. I understand why it has to be done. She grabs him quite tightly. There are many pains I am gladly to take. The thought of you lying with another. If I could, I would hold you. Now and forever. So that you would never leave. But I cannot. I understand why you have to. But do not think that it is not painful for me.
He nods slowly.
This body should be. And she slides a hand down along his chest. This body should be mine and mine alone. As mine should be yours. But creation is painful. It requires sacrifices that we must be willing to make.
Maybe in time. For now, we have fulfilled our duty and
And as
created.
they say, Rome was not built in one day.
No.
We both still have much to learn. With knowledge will come purity, clarity, and guidance. She goes over, puts a bookmark in the book she is reading, closes it, and she will just say, "Now, shall we join the festivities?"
He goes to the door.
Thus far you have enjoyed them, it seems. Or at least been able to hold your temper very, very well. Even socialize a bit.
Thus far. He takes something out of his pocket. It seems to be a silver chain. He puts it around his neck. Madeline, there is one thing that is true of this. My flesh and my hands work in the cause of the mother. But my heart will always be yours.
as will mine be yours.
He goes over and kisses her. The chain seems to be has a little wolf's head on it. Probably some sort of ornate gangrel insignia.
She, as she parts from him, she will take his hand, caresses it, and they will walk hand in hand um, down to the main hall. And with that, I believe that the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.